I've got a couple of things written down, but with these glasses I can see them, with the others I can't, you know.
Kevin, do you want me to play that music?
Yeah, yeah, it's good. I don't know if you can. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, it's a great film.
Just waiting for the guys to come on, Kev. We're on live. Yeah. We're just waiting. Come on, get joined on here.
We're all eating the Easter eggs, I think, Bri.
Yeah, that's what it'll probably be.
Yeah.
Who's the first one on? Come on, let's see. 2-1. Can you hear me, guys? Let us know.
Do you still go to KFC, Bri?
Oh, Max was earlier. Hello, White David, one of the brilliant lads. Can't wait to come and see you, mate. I was in jail with a lot of lads from up there. The joke, I didn't, mate. Yeah, no problem, Maximus. Dalton Betts, yeah. All right, mate.
You can see all.
I hope you're not eating too many eggs, Maximus. Wayne Press, is that Preston? Andrew Williams, evening, gents. He's saying, oh, evening, mate. Boom. Yeah, brilliant, mate. Leo Lucius, I think Licursi. I'm good, mate. Very good. No tax me. No eggs.
How are you doing?
Just a few. It took 19.
Yeah, get a few on there.
Get a few on first. Yeah. Yeah, we're fine, Mally. Thank you, mate. Is that Ian Mullet Miller? Yeah, okay, Ian. Paul Bree. Brilliant, mate. Bit of background music.
Yeah. Once one time anyway.
Yeah, my sister Maureen wants us to play it at a funeral. Yeah. You know when it goes into the jolly part.
Oh, that's not for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just say hello to Monkey and Maureen while we're on. And the dog. Got the same dog as us, hasn't she?
Yeah.
Keita.
Another man I was talking to today, I just on Messenger a little bit in depth. We'll go and see him.
Tell me what I was asking about.
Told him how much you appreciate what he's done. And
brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. 6 times well, Mr. Universe. Absolutely fantastic. How you ready, mate? We love you a bit and can't wait to come and see you.
Yeah, I told him how much you
changed.
Praise him.
It's lovely, lads. Yeah. All them old days are gone now, and we were just kids then and stupid and grown up now, and it's just what helped people now. Yeah, we've got some brilliant.
Can you all please share onto Facebook or any other platform?
That's the boss talking, by the way.
Yeah. I'd mentioned to him as well on the messenger that Brian and I agreed that he'd have played a better part than Arnold, you know.
Oh, the bunny, sorry. Room the bunny's going to tax me. Oh, Lass already taxed me. Thomas Harkins. Thank you very much, mate. Still some, how you feel, mate? You alright, son?
I think there might be a
Thomas Harkins, you a good lad.
My friends watching Trish James and Anne.
Come on, get down there, come on.
Maureen might.
I think we're on a little bit early, that's all. We'll just wait a little bit, guys.
And Nick Brannigan, if you're watching, I've got a good story about him
33.
tonight.
Come on, keep getting on. Right. You ready to go?
Yep.
Right. Welcome to Brian Cockerill Taxman Show. We've got the amazing Kev KILTY back by popular demand. I think he's just took over my show. I think more people are asking questions about Kevin as me. Someone said he's encyclopedia knowledge of Teesside, but he's here. Kevin, welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back, Brian. Thanks.
We might get a call by the police again. I don't know, but
we might get a visit.
Yeah, I hope so, because we've been that good. So, yeah, guys, Easter to everyone.
Yeah, happy Easter.
Yeah. What we're going to talk about?
Well,
sure.
What I was going to talk about, I know I've mentioned all lads, but I was going to talk a story through door stories.
Yeah.
Not necessarily about any fighting or things like that. There's not much of that in it.
Yeah.
But some really good stories about when I started working at Macmillan's and some of the people who I got to know there and worked for, some of the door lads who worked for us. And there's a couple of good, really funny stories, but you've got to listen to the end of them for them. But I said to Terry Dicko last night, I was going to mention a little bit about a story which you won't remember, Terry, but anyway, going back a lot of years ago when we were at Winniebank, where the church is at the moment, Sainsbury's. And years ago, then I was like a clean-cut skinhead, not a thug, clean-cut skinhead.
But yeah, I know.
Like, yeah. Smart as I could afford to be. But then is you couldn't, I was that little, you couldn't get the proper check shirts or the Levi's stay press, or certainly the airwear boots.
What were they called, shirts? I can't remember what they're called. You know the shirts.
Well, the Ben Sherman.
Ben Sherman, that's the one,
And the check shirts, and jackets. But when the stay press came out, and
there were two-tone ones, is that the one you're on about?
Two-tone, and the airwear boots, and the Wranglers and Levi's.
Yeah.
Anyone in senior school, unless you're a big lad, you couldn't get them to fit you.
Yeah.
Anyway, one day I'm going over the fairground on my own. Didn't have money for the rides like no one did.
No.
Loved the smell of the hot dogs and the onions and the chips and burgers. Westler's burgers, you can still get them in the
they're the best burgers. They were we were just talking about that, me and my wife. They were Wimpy's, like a rubber type fairground. They're the best burgers in history. Yeah. And
the smell of the fairground, and something else I remember about the fairground, I'm sure everyone does, was the great music that used to be on.
And the waltzes and that.
Waltzes, Crow's Fair. Anyway, I was over there this one day. I think it might have been 1970, 69. And in and out. And there's this lad going on what they call the Noah's Ark, which goes round mega
sick,
dangerously fast. Anyway, there's this lad, small lad, my size, probably jumping on and off, and looks at me going 90 miles an hour, on, off, on, off. And I looked and I thought, he's got airwear on him, this lad. Proper airwear boots. And I thought, he must only be a size 3 or 4 like me. You can't get him unless it's size 6. Then I looked and Wranglers on. They must have 24, 26 waist. You can't get them to the 30 waist. Looking the lad dead cocky and what have you. And anyway, Flash Alley, look at he'd have a go and what have you. And I was quite impressed by his activities on there. I only told him last week in the text that lad was Terry Dicko.
Right. That sounds like he's all hopping on and off everything.
The lad there was Terry.
So my God today, bless him. And
just to mention him,
just been with Matty Turner and that was a good day today. And that got Redcliffe and that, and Big John Pickard on me and other great lads. So like to say, thank all the support we've had in that last week from everybody. Big Joe Egan, just speaking to him today, absolutely marvellous man. Come to see us soon when the lockdowns are over. Rob Holloway has been there.
Yeah.
David Ashton, my brother, Joey. There's loads and loads of guys out there, but I'd just like to thank everyone here, and my wife would as well. Go back on the
back onto it. So I'll go straight on to the door stories. I've got a bit of a sore throat, so you'll have to bear with me. I finished work at Bentley's in, I think, 1988. I stayed for work for a while. I went through a little bit of depression, to be honest with you, down and out. I'll tell you the story about that later on, because it's quite a story in it. I was involved with a girl who I was supposed to get married to, and I didn't get married, and it done me head in. I should have done, and she was a really good girl, Not that looks at everything, but she was stunning looking. And then after that, I'd got on with Melanie, And Melanie was really smart at the time as well, Anyway, I was just doing normal things, nothing in particular. Back down money banks. I wasn't doing anything. It was nothing crime-wise. I think maybe the odd time there was aluminium baseball.
Because the wooden ones break on after sort of. Not that I know about it.
and the petrol bombing of the lad on the motorbike, a few other things. But these were bad people, and to be honest with you, we all feel the fear, but you feel the fear and run and hide, or you feel the fear and have fear to protect the elderly people the elderly people. So anyway, I was in my house down Winnie Banks one day. The lads down there loved little Richard when Richie was a little kid,
Richard Rose was always out there.
He's out and
hammering about.
And he didn't know he was going to grow up to be world champion. But he used to say, "Do you want to slide a bump over you, Rich?" And I remember one afternoon, I was just sat in the house, and Kev Scott pulls up.
Good lad, Kev.
I think it'll have been about 1992. Pulls up, Kev. He never comes round, Kev. I want to see you. There's something I want you to do. What? Do you fancy your job back on the door? I said, I don't know how old I was at the time. I might have been 35, something like that.
Quite kids as well, didn't you?
Yeah. And I said, not particularly, really. I said, where's it at? He said, Tall Trees, Macmillan's, which was, along with the Mall, the best nightclubs in the UK at the time. you know, and
owned by the same people.
Javed,
yeah, nice man.
And Javed, I'd worked for Javed many years before.
Jimmy D, you know, the good kid who worked on there.
Yeah, and Javed learned me a lot, actually, quite a lot, you know. Yeah. Some of his crap was really good. I'll go into it in a minute. Yeah. And
I can tell you a story about that, but I'll let you.
So anyway, he goes on, you know, I said, well, I thought Gina and Marty working there. He said, no, I don't know what they'd packed in or whatever the reason was. And I thought, well,
you made contact the other day to say hello back, mate. We'll hope to see you soon, mate. And yeah, keep up the training.
Yeah, he's a great bloke. He's another one who could have been in the film, couldn't he? As Van Damme and that Marty.
Brilliant physique. Chart Bram really loves him. He looks up to him.
Yeah, he looks up to
really good
Marty a lot.
Man,
yeah, he's a good man. Yeah, I like Marty a lot. And the thing is, when you've got these people who are, you know, people who are tough lads, being very tough lads in the time, I've never ever liked them through them being tough.
No, just
you would be my friend if you were the softest person in the world, same as other people would be. So it's not about that.
Yeah.
And anyway, I said, what's happened with the lads up there? Because I don't really want to get a bad name and step on the toes. She said, no, it's all right.
Yeah.
So I went up and seen him. I was talking to Alan Kenny Gregory. Decided I'd work there. And I knew Javed will let you wear what you want as long as you're smart. You know, not jeans that, but smart, especially the Ed Dorman, you know. So I looked around a few lads to get on the door, and I thought, and employ a few. I employed one young lad at the time who wasn't even worked on the door, John, met little John. Mick Brannigan, do you know Mick Brannigan? Ginger Mick from
really good nice lad, funny lad. Good lad, yeah. It's about Mark Johnson, Ellie, didn't he? Yeah, good lad. And Mark the bailiff, I've met Mark, he worked with him as well.
Did he?
Yeah, we're on as well,
Yeah, Mick's a great lad, very good lad. Steve Galloway, another good lad, came on the door.
Ali Johnson.
Ali was at the Mall at the time.
Yeah, he was
Peter McGee come work with us, very good door lad. Probably I think Peter was the youngest lad to ever work at the Bongo.
He used to say, how does Brian get that big? He used to try to pinch for a seat. You tell you, Peter, mate. What's he taking? What's he do?
He was 18-year-old when he worked on the door, you know, but
nice kid,
at the Bongo, and he was a professional footballer as well. Played against Roy Keane and stuff like that. So anyway, I got a couple of good lads on the door there, and I got a big lad called Jeff Hurst, who was probably a tough lad, but more of a greeter. Steve Ord, Mick Thompson, so some really good lads on the door there. Started working off there. A little bit of GFSU nights, top class people coming in and that, you know. And anyway, I remember as we were getting into it, I really enjoyed it. And Javed took us down his Rolls Royce to Birmingham NEC Centre.
Yeah, the little club there, didn't he?
Yeah, and we had the nightclub of the year as well, the Maestro.
Bradford, that's Bradford. I used to work there.
Yeah, I used to work there, yeah. And anyway, from there, started to really enjoy working on the door. It was like a night out, even though I didn't drink.
Yeah, you're right.
It was a class place. You had like girls bar where I would be, and the lads would be on the other door. But I'd float about, and I was in charge of them.
You had a good fun on there, didn't you? Everyone was training.
Yeah.
Everyone had the same type of goals. It was good fun, wasn't it?
And I remember, obviously, the people who used to go in there as regulars, they'd probably not take to new door lads if they were well in with the door lads.
Yeah, you're right.
I remember one lad coming up to me at the time, really nice lad. He knew me from a long time ago, but I'd changed and he didn't know me. But I knew his face. He was a lad called Darren Hall from Yarms, you know him.
I know Darren, yeah, big Darren from Park End, and he know him very well.
And Darren, at the end of the night, it was people ready to go, and we were just politely saying, "Are you ready to go, Elsback?" Sometimes I'd stop back and have a drink. It was a class bar. And he said, "No, I'm being invited here, you know." And I weren't being funny, we were polite, we were meant to be polite, you know. I said, sorry, I said, it's guests only, mate. He said, I'm guests, I've been invited as a guest. I said, who by? He said, oh, Kevin Kilty. I said, oh, okay then. I said, I'll buy you a drink then. He said, oh, cheers, what's your name? I said, Kevin Kilty.
I went there with little Terry Dickle once, quick story, and we goes to Gwyn, there was a big dominant and he's passed away now, big, about 20 stone, you remember him? He's
was that the one who was on the Jimmy Catlow?
Yeah, Jimmy Catlow.
That's the one who was trying to name last week.
Yes, he was on anyway.
Jimmy, dark hair lad,
big lad,
nice lad, wasn't he?
Jimmy Rob Tarifi, yeah. So he came on, he was trying to stop Terry going in, because Terry down in the pub, and the barmaid was on, she said, oh, he threatened me the other week or something, but it's absolute rubbish. Some laddie was with Terry threatened her, and Terry went, well, now don't me. He said, I was just with a lad. So they said, oh, you can't come in. So I said to Javin and Mia, I said, are we all right to get in? I think Mickey Flanagan done this. So we went to get in. He went, oh, you can't come in. I said, I'm the boss. Started all the shouting. So I said, listen, you're doing a lot of shouting. Let's go in on the back and see if you can walk the walks. You don't talk the talk to walk the walk. Oh, you bully me now. I went, well, wait a minute. You're trying to bully, you're 17, 18 stone, 6'2".
Yeah.
You're bullying Terry. So I'm going to bully you then. And he would be, and 2 days later, they're not attacking dad.
I remember.
Unbelievable,
yeah.
So if I had to admit that, hit him that night, so what happened, Dad had probably got to jail. It just shows you, innit? So I asked the owners, I said, they're the owners that said I could come in, anytime I want. Because I'd helped them with the ball when I used to work at Kenny Gregory's, I'll tell you that. And he was just being horrible, full of steroids and horrible. But we passed away now. We didn't call the man, we just said incidents. Yeah,
I knew him a little bit, Jimmy. Yeah, I think prior to that he had some stomach problems, cancer, and that, you know, and that obviously brought it on.
Yeah.
But anyway, I started working there, met some really good people, learned to see who the VIPs were, who was allowed in for nothing, who wasn't, you know. The drugs were probably big at the time then, but to be honest with you, I can say with my hand on heart, and Javid knew this, not once was I ever involved in selling any drugs on that door. There was probably
alleged I wasn't. It's probably all that stuff. I'm not being horrible, but the truth is the truth. I did the whole.
Well, actually,
everywhere was boxed off.
There's a little story about that. Actually, I caught one lad in there selling drugs. It was very low profile in a way. It was the best club around. Everyone wanted to be there. Taxis from everywhere.
Everyone was on gear though. All the young people were all
probably were, but I think them days it was probably ecstasy.
Just ecstasy, you know. But that's what it was. It was a rave club.
And
mad music.
But later on, when it would become Club M, that's when it got. But these days, obviously, people are coming in that might be people taking the coke, the whatever.
Yeah, mainly 90% of people were just taking ecstasy, and they were just. I mean, we had as a club.
But there was a lot of people.
We went to the first club to me, and was the filmers.
Yeah.
In the North East, I used to work at the door there with what do you call him, Norman Rushby, and Steve Brad, lovely lad, NBA champion boxer. And I was a young kid, 21, 22 at the door. And then we got the eclipse with little Don LaRoche. We just talked about seeing him there. All these away, we have to go see him. He's a lovely lad. We used to go in there when the fest opened. They had 30 people, so I got everyone from everywhere. 3,000 people used to come to see us and pop in. Everyone come. There was hardly any trouble whatsoever now. I couldn't even mention 5 fights. There was 2,000-3,000 people in there, 500 in the queue. Not a fight next door. They were 2 of them arguing over a game of dominoes and stabbed each other. It just shows, doesn't it? So then people were all taking the evil. Like, not saying it's a good thing, but that was just what happened, didn't it? In them days, but
what a class location overlooking the sea, in it, you know, and
marvellous.
And good to get that many people in a small town like that. Whereas Macmillan's was in big land, and prior to Javid owning it, Kevin Amer, the Amers, Charlie Amer owned it. Prior to Charlie Amer owning it, one of my very best old friends, he's 90 now, great man, Kenny Shannon, he owned it. He actually built it from when it was a colonel's house and extended it.
Right.
So anyway, we got to know all the VIPs and, you know, people coming in. There wasn't great lots of trouble. For the ones we sorted out diplomatically. You know, we had a big area from the door to the end of the car park. So we had some great nights there, and the people who worked with us at the time, as well as the door staff, was Lal Cowendale. He's on Facebook now, Premier Lal, little Indian bloke. He was that good, Lal. He always used to say to me, and he's very pleasant. He said, Kevin, you're the best door lad I've had. And I said, what you're after, Lal? He said, just seriously, and he was immaculate, only a little bloke. He said he used to say this about himself, Lal, if you look, and you will watch it later. He said, do you think I'm quite a good-looking chap, aren't I, Kevin? Do you think so? I said, of course you are, Lal, you're great. He could have worked at the Savoy, he was that good.
The gift of the gab.
He was just great organisation. Kenny Gregory, great bloke.
I went downtown with Kenny. Was remember City used to wear the door.
You went downtown, didn't you?
He was a good man there.
And obviously another bloke who was on the door with us, but I always classed him as my boss. because he was part of Jared's family.
Yeah.
And it was Dennis who was married to Betty Bury, if she's watching now. And she was a very great lady. All the door lads respected her. Right. She took the money in the nightclub side. Proper lady. She could have been in Dallas or anywhere. Yeah. And the daughter Donna. In fact, most of the staff there. But her husband Dennis, God bless him, he's not with us now. He passed away. Right. He learned me a lot. He was a really good bloke, good company, and his son used to be a bodyguard for Gary Newman, you know, cars.
Yeah. With two coloured eyes, like, yeah.
And at the end of every night, as I say, we'd on a Saturday especially, we'd have a drink. One little tale I'm going to tell you, and I couldn't at the time because it had dropped. The lads in it. They used to do a great Sunday dinner at the time, well known in the restaurant, top class, and they'd done them to order. And anyway, on the night, we would be able to go and get our meal and give you some beef and rice and what have you. And John met and Dave McGill one night after the end of the night. We'd had a little bit of a drink. It was a summer's morning. It was daylight coming. Yeah. John Met said, Kev, can Dave go and get a beef out of the kitchen? I said, no, not really, no. He said, we just a bit. I said, I'll get in the bother. No, I would never take anything, never steal off Javid, nothing. But I said, if there is a little bit of beef, go and get it. Anyway, all of a sudden, Dave, and he used to hide inside and drink Newcastle Brown Ale without its number. I clicked on. And Dave's walking out, and he's a good lad as well. And all of a sudden, he said, do you want to get in the car first, Kevin? He's holding his arm like that. And I thought, what the fuck's up with him? I said, John, what's up with him? He said, I think he got a punch early on his side. I said, gets in the car and a full whack of beef drops out on the floor.
You've been feeding.
And you know, that was one of the other little stories. And going back to it as well, there's another story of it. I hope he doesn't mind me telling this story, because the lad who is on Facebook now, and he's a good lad. And at the time, he was coming in, and he was from the outer parts of Winniebanks, and there was a lad called Kappa. Do you know him?
Kappa. Yeah.
Kappa. Yeah. Well, Kappa, I won't mind me mentioning. If you do, I'm sorry. I don't think he was one of them who got sent away for the murder of Speedy.
Yeah.
Even though he wasn't the one who pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
And one week he was in there, and Kenny Gregory come in and said, Kappa's dealing drugs on the stage there. And I used to let him in. I said, yes, you're joking. No, I said, come in. And they said to him, have you got any drugs on you? No, none at all, Kev. Any drugs on you at all? He wasn't a bad lad. He was a good lad, actually. Yeah. No, none at all. And anyway, Kenny went out. I said, Kenny, go and get Steve Galloway to get the other lad off the stage. He went out the office. I said, if you've got any drugs on you now, tell me, because the coppers are going to come and you're going to get arrested. You know, I said, I don't know you want you arrested, but if you're selling the gear. Anyway, he said, no, I haven't. I went to check in his pocket, and he had, God knows how many there. You know, so we barred him out of the place. A lot of people had taxed him, as you know, when who was running, you would have,
I used to send a certain person in, a girl.
Because George,
not far from me, and I say, go in there and see what's about. So you could tell they were dogs and all these things. If they come back different colours, I think some bastards in it. And I'd have them hunted out.
You would have had them away, but we were nice guys, so
I was a nice guy. I was just keep the drugs off the street.
Let them on the way.
I said, have you got any drugs? He said, no. I said, you want some?
Anyway, he was barred out, and we didn't want him back in. We couldn't, you know what I mean? He'd abused it. He was on the stage selling the drugs. Yeah. And as you know, at the back of it, you used to have a barbecue area where, if you wanted to, you could probably sneak around the back. And sometimes there was 2,000 people in there on the night. Yeah. And anyway, Kenny come to me again, Kenny Gregory. Kevin, what, Ken? You won't believe it. He said, there's someone sat on the stage selling ecstasy as if the fucking sweets. I said, who is it? He said, have a guess. Said, it's not Kappa, is it? He said, it is. So anyway, I'd lost my temper, and I'd still apologise to him now, but I couldn't help it. I went in the door, lads had him, and I slapped him and literally knocked him.
Right.
You had over. So I apologise for that, Kappa. He probably filled me in now because he's training. He's in.
He probably filled me in about you.
He's in good shape. Yeah. But the respect we had off people, it wasn't necessarily because we were tough door lads, because we were pleasant door lads. Yeah. You had police coming in there. You had Bernie Slavin coming there. Gary Pallister coming in there. I remember
Brian
one
Cockerill.
Brian Cockerill, yeah. Well, actually, I'll tell you how Brian came in when I was working there. Even though Brian was a great friend, I spent not minimal time, but only time at the weekends with him. But I knew literally everywhere was wary of him coming in. And his mate Flea come up one night on the Friday. He said, "All right, Kev, how are you doing?" I said, "Are you coming in?" He said, No, I'm not coming in. He said, "Brian wants to know, is he all right to come in tomorrow night?" I thought, won't be any trouble, will there? Won't be any trouble. You might not remember this.
Yeah, I do.
And anyway, Brian come in, you know, guest, and he was dressed in a pair of tailor-made trousers and a white shirt. You know, he looked the part, looked really big and thingy. And anyway, he was in about, I don't know how long, quarter of an hour, and he come out, and I heard this clatter from the other door, and the door nearly come up the hinges, and Bryce says to me, "If he's cheating me again, I'm going to fucking give him it." And it was John Met being given a little bit of a, I don't know what it was over.
Yeah.
But anyway, Brian went, thank God, he didn't have any problems, you know.
Yeah. None of the doors didn't come off.
Well, they actually did.
Yeah, Flea was saying.
They did.
He just took them doors off the hinges.
Well, they did actually. Yeah. But the lad who pinched the beef, Dave,
right,
he was a joiner.
Oh, right.
So
right.
we paid back for the beef.
So
put
there you are, mate. So I want to have that beef now. Yeah.
And anyway, this other night, sorry about my voice, by the way. This other night we were in there, and obviously you had to be dressed smart.
Yeah.
A summer's night, stood on Earl's Bar, 300 metres up the road, minibus pulls in, and these lads get out. I'm not kidding you, some of them your size,
yeah,
which you can't believe. And Mick Thompson says, "We've got trouble here." I thought, but they're counting them going, it's about 12 of them. Jeans on, t-shirts, boots. Fucking hell, I said, "Lad, I'm just going up here." I said, "I don't know what's going to happen, but they can't come in." And I walked up with Mick Brannigan. Mick Brannigan, he said to us, "We outnumbered you, you know, Kev." I said, "I know." We walked up and I says, "Listen, mate," one of them was a foreign bloke trying to talk. I said, "I'm sorry, you cannot come in like that. You can't come in like that, no chance." What? And I thought he was going to have a go. I said, "I'm sorry, you can't come in like that." All of a sudden, this big bloke with a beard came from behind me, shook my hand. He said, "Oh, we've been invited by Javid." It was Jeff Capes.
Right. He had a security firm, didn't he?
He had a security firm, Jeff. And he was with all the world's strongest men.
Right, that's how there was to be.
They come to visit us, and I was talking to Jeff.
Yeah.
Obviously, he'll know Richard now, and Richard didn't well now. Talking to Jeff a while back. And he was England, he was the world's strongest man.
Yeah, but he was a policeman at first,
policeman, yeah.
And then he apparently he's into budgies now. He looks after the
budgies. Yeah,
but he broke the record for the great, what do you call him, John Paul Sigmason.
Yeah,
he was awesome and all.
Yeah, and he was a great bloke. Jeff talked to him and that. He was suffering from a bit of sweats at the time, overeating and that. And he was on the door talking to me all the time.
Tell me this funny story. You might know this, and Richard will probably know it. There's the thing people used to say, when you lift heavy weights, it slows you down, but it doesn't. What happens when you get older? Well, you start losing the fast twitch fibre muscle. So the only way to keep that is to train really heavy. Now, Jeff Capes trained heavy. He used to say, if you train heavy, you couldn't punch as fast, but it's wrong. He'll tell you yourself, it's the fast twitch fibres you train when you train heavy. All these, his daughter and that was running, and Richard and that all use big heavy weights on the legs, and it makes them faster. The old thing was, even Tyson used to think that years ago. I know he trained in the weights in the end. But Jeff Capes, so 26 stone, 6'6", like that.
Yeah.
Brendan Foster had a race with him.
I was just going to mention that. And over 200 metres.
Yeah, something short sprint, whatever it was. And he said, "I could beat you." He went, "Everyone, no chance." And Jeff Capes beat him, didn't he?
Yeah, allegedly, Brendan, if you're watching, because Brendan knows me and Richard very well. I've got Brendan. He was just a message to me, Brendan Foster, the other week about how well Richard done on
absolutely brilliant, wasn't he?
Great bloke. What he's done with the Great North Run,
absolutely marvelous.
And the City Games, him and Richard bringing it to stop. Hands off to him. But Brendan will tell you if it's true as well.
Big Jeff beat him,
Big Jeff beat him.
So that story Peter wouldn't believe, but if you want to check it, it's there. But it does the speed. You get more speed even when you train on heavy weights. You get that past the hands.
Of course it does. Another quick story going off the door work though, but it's funny. the Diamond League games that were coming to Gateshead last year.
It's mad, the stadium.
Massive. This is one of the world's best races, all the Olympians there. And Gateshead got a contract for it, and Brendan Foster asked Richard to go because he's in charge of the city games. Right. They'll promote. All the television cameras were there. I got my nose in a little bit, you know, not too much, but I got my nose in. And anyway, Richard was star of the show invitation at the promotion, invited by Brendan Foster. Brendan Foster, obviously, well gone and retired now. Yeah. And all these young athletes came up who were from other clubs. I think they were from Bladen and other ones, but school kids about 10-year-old, 11. Yeah. And we were in the changing room, and all of a sudden Richard walks in with his Great Britain stuff on. And the coach there says, "Right, children, we have a very special guest here." Richard stood there and he said, "Hands up, people who know who this man is." Yeah. And they put the hands up and they're trying to say, so I'm not going to ask everyone. I'm going to ask everyone once. This is a very famous man here. And he said to one lad, "You know who this man is?" Yeah. He said, "Who is this man?" He said, "I know who he is. It's Brendan Foster."
What did Richard say? That's not me.
Well, I went Brendan later on. I said, "Hey, Brendan," I said, "Richard's just had a bloody great compliment there, you know." He said, "What was that?" I said, "They asked you to know who he was," and I said, "It was you, Brendan Foster." But Brendan was a great.
Because he was known that much for being a runner there. That's what it'll probably be on it. It's like saying, "Who's the best? This fighter is the best fighter." And if it was, probably say it was Mike Tyson, wasn't it? So.
And another time, a story that ended up in a court case, actually nothing to do with Macmillans, but ended up in a court case. Another group of lads came one night, and two of them looked real handfuls. Other ones smart, well-to-do, you know. And one of them was this, we didn't know at the time, really big, 6'7" black lad, probably 27 stone, not in the shape that you were, but he was a very strong, big lad. And it was John Daniel. He was American lad, but London lad, gangster, allegedly. If you have a look at the Creer's funeral, he was the big black lad who was there. And he was a really nice lad. We weren't going to let him in at first.
Didn't he have his own security in that?
He did. Well, he was security for these lads there. Right. And what these lads were doing, they had the Highfield Hotel and a few other top-class places. And for a few weeks, they had this top-class Italian furniture, best you've ever seen in the world, on display, and everyone was going and looking at it, and it was a £200 deposit, and then you bought it, whatever. Cut long story short, they were there a few weeks, made millions on deposits. The furniture never ever came. Ever. And he ended up at court for it later on. They were in with these, I don't know, with the Adamses are, but one of them was in with him, and Big John was there, and anyway, for a laugh, I was sitting in the airport one day because he stayed at the hotel, and he was fucking massive, really big black bloke. And I said, "I'll take you to the airport." I said, "Do you mind, John, if I stop off at my brother's house in Winniebanks?" It was out Raymond. Anyone who knows Ray, he's dead feeble. He's not with us now, but he's very scared of anything, to say the least, my older brother. So I comes to the door. I said, "Can you knock on the door, his door, John, and says, 'Ray Kilty, I want to word with you.'" And he knocked on the door. "Ray Kilty, I want to word with you." Boom, he hit the deck, Ray.
Exactly. They said, did any of you ever meet Paul Massey? Sort of just saying that your sister, didn't she? Yeah. So Kevin might tell you a little story.
I had met him a long time ago, about 1984 at Manchester. I didn't particularly know him, but Paul Massey was a very, very good friend of my brother-in-law, Paul Lyons, Monkey Lyons. And Paul was in prison with Paul Massey was in prison with Monkey for quite a long time. They became very, very, very good friends. Monkey was telling some stories about how hard Paul used to train, even though he wasn't a big lad, and he used to get all the protein, tuck in, go on the pads and that. But he was very, very well liked in Salford.
Yeah, he was.
Very well liked.
Well, I know lads. I was in jail with his brother Eddie. I was in with him for 95, 96.
Yeah, and he went to I went to Paul's funeral. Maureen's a very good friend of his wife as well. She's been up to visit her a few times.
She was best man for you, Maureen, wasn't he?
Well, my sister was married in prison.
Yeah.
She wasn't in prison at the time, but her boyfriend was. Yeah. And the best man, I've got some photos what you can put on your website about him, was Paul Massey and Monkey. And that's the time when I'd said that when she went in, the prison officer said, "What are you doing back, Maureen? Your husband's dead. Should I've come to get married?" "Oh, two Monkey Lions." "Monkey Lions, what you bothered marrying him?" "Oh, he's daft." "Sure, he makes me laugh." "Why don't you fucking marry Ken Dodd?"
I was in jail in Durham.
Yeah.
And he had the same probation officer, Derek, they called him, as me. And you know, it's bad, isn't he? The probation officer, man. Anyway, we were locked up, and he said the best time he had in jail was being with me. Yeah. All that jail, he did 20 odd years, didn't he? And he said the best jail I ever had was Brian. He said,
20 odd years.
And the other one, the other person.
Just funny at one time.
Oh, really, he was very well respected, made a lot of money, you know.
Lad,
and very clever.
What did he do 21st off?
Well, he'd been in and out of jail his life, but he ended up getting like 20 records, something, didn't he, in the end?
Yeah. Well, Monkey did, but I think Paul got a few acquittals in that. And, he was a very good friend of Paul Massey's.
Monkey, aren't you?
Monkey. Paul Massey was a very good friend of Paul Ferris.
That's right, yeah.
And when I was at the funeral, next session, I'll tell a story about that funeral. I was stood next to Sid out of Coronation Street, you know, the daft one.
Yeah.
But I think you all daft in Coronation.
I don't watch it, but
I don't either, but I was stood next to him. And when we went to the church, me, Maureen and Monkey, parked there in Salford, about 10 people outside, waiting. 10 minutes ago, and he said, "I don't know whether we've got the right church." So he went and asked someone, "Is Paul Massey getting married here?" "Yeah." From a distance, you thought it was William Wallace cavalry, the noise, the bugles, and about 30 Scotch pipers come round the corner. I wouldn't like to say how many, probably minimum 20 black Mercedes, and maybe 3,000 people.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of them, when he was going in the church, were God worshipping, touching his coffin. And some of them people, they'll do the same to you. You know, man, they'll do the same, makes you probably carry my coffin. You know.
Yeah. Hope you don't have to carry mine.
Anyway, you're about at the time. So anyway, they were touching his coffin.
Yeah, Big Eddie will do it, won't he?
And most of the people who were touching his coffin and praising him were people, I would say, just 70, 80-year-old
normal people
in wheelchairs crying. So he did help a lot of people out, you know.
So sad, wasn't it?
Like a Robin Hood figure, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Like a lot of people liked him because he was like, I was a year of him because we found out all people were getting robbed or people were getting.
I think it was exactly like that.
Exactly, just help people,
you know, and
give money to
people, try to solve problems. It was quite sad, actually.
Because it's no disrespect to anybody, but the old school values. If anybody was messing about with old people's windows, we'd go around sorting out, wouldn't we? We would. And the police would just drive off, wouldn't they? They'd know that's what they need, a good slap. It's not saying this to violence is great, but sometimes that's the only thing these people knew, isn't it?
And not about that, going off the story, Monkey, Paul Lyons, my sister's husband, he told us a story, because he's not very well now at the moment, Paul, but he's very funny at the time. He tells us about when him and Charles Bronson, the prisoner. Oh, I don't know, but I've had a few postcards off him. But I don't know him, I've never met him or whatever.
I did a book with him called...
You did a book with him,
I'll just show you. I did a book with him called Salty Fitness quite a while ago.
I haven't read that.
I hope he gets out. I think I'll get you one. I hope he gets out on his parole. We love you, Charlie, and we're all here for you, all the guys, you know. So if he's been in long enough. Paedophiles and rapists did less than him. He's out. So Charlie, we hope he gets out.
And I reckon he trains really hard and that, you know. And as I said, I don't know him. I'd like to get him a couple of Gillette 3 razors to get that beard off. He'd look a lot better.
Probably look 20 years younger, Charlie boy.
But yeah, Monkey.
He's another nice. He's all liked by everyone. Charlie. He's done so much for charities, but people don't know. He's given it all to charity. He's money in that, and he's done so many books and that over the years. But it's all gone to charity.
Yeah, and the Monkey was saying about that he was in segregation, which is a cell within a cell. which you can't get out.
No.
And Charlie was above him. They knew each other very well. Monkey's in solitary, and he's gets brought round Sunday afternoon. Apple pie and custard. Monkey comes through the door, eating the cell, you know, 24-hour lockup.
Yeah.
Charlie Bronson knocking on the ceiling. Monkey, Monkey, what's that I can smell? What's that I can smell? Monkey, Charlie, it's the apple pie, custard. What's it like? What's it like? Fucking mint. You should see the chunks of the apple in it. They're bringing you some round, Charlie. It's only be 5 minutes, Charlie. Okay. Half an hour later. Monkey, Monkey, I haven't had the apple pie and custard yet. Where is it? They said they were bringing it. Anyway, half an hour later, the doors are going, the landings, the alarms off, everything. Where's my fucking apple pie? Where's the apple pie? Bolting the doors in. So yeah, if he ever comes to see you, make sure you have some fucking apple pie.
We will, and custard. He sent us a few drawings over the years, and I've written a few books for us. Signed a few books over the years. So he's nice man.
The drawings are excellent, aren't they?
First class.
He always uses a very thin pen.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, another thing going on.
Any questions, anyone?
The door lads, some good stories coming up here. And one of them was when Tall Trees was getting built into what the Club M was, the Great Club M. You've seen it like a Roman front on it, a swimming pool into it, Alexandra Suite, a brilliant thing done by Javed and his team. And Javed once thanked me and says, you know, you've been very honest on the door, Kevin. We've had a lot of funds, you know, and blah, blah, blah. So I was at Dawn at the time that still opened, Alexander Suite. And it was meant for big entertainment, top stars and that. And the first star that was ever on there, who I particularly didn't like, was Max Bygraves.
Right.
Do you remember Max Bygraves?
Yeah, he was a singer, wasn't he, and comedian.
Entertainer.
Yeah, film star.
And I knew there'd be old people there, pensioners.
It wasn't my cup of tea, like.
Yeah, it wasn't mine. I didn't particularly like him. No. So the upwards 1,000, and as you go and you've been having, and it goes sunken down, seats 1,000, the kitchen equipment Javed bought was out of this world. And there must have been about 100 staff on this day. Day before, says to Kenny, I always remember it was on a Friday, coming up towards Christmas. Kenny, what time do you want me in the door, lads, here tomorrow? 12:30. I said, Max Bygraves on it at 1 o'clock, Kenny. 12:30 will do. I said, I don't think so, Ken. I said, there's going to be loads of old age pensioners here. Yeah. Yeah, we are. And stuff, yeah. So anyway, we decided to go at 12:30. Me, Mick Brannigan and the rest of the lads, I think Peter McGee was there, John met a few others, pulls up in the car park, 12:30 on the afternoon. It was afternoon show, mainly pensioners. Yeah. 30 quid a ticket, meal included. Even, I think the dessert was apple pie custard. Well, it was actually, because I'll tell you the story.
I'll take it there, Charlie, but it's gone now.
Pulled up, and John, the security lad, said, fucking hell, Kevin, there's fucking hell on. He said, whatever trouble you had on these doors, you're not going to have the trouble you've got with these pensions. Walked in, Kenny Gregory's fighting through the crowd. Kevin, come over here now. Kenny, I told you we should have been here at 11 o'clock. I didn't know anyone had come and see the staff bugger, Max Bygraves. Right. So we must have plenty of tickets. Yeah. I went in and tried to calm him down. And there's this old woman in the wheelchair. I hope you don't mind me saying, Kenny, like, but you laugh. Old woman in a wheelchair, about 80. Yo, Kenny, you the manager. Why can't I sit down there? Get me down there now. 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 Smacking Kenny in the mouth. Yeah. The woman's friend was on a Zimmer frame and trying to attack Kenny with a Zimmer frame. It was chaos, a disaster. Eventually, we got them all sorted out.
Yeah. We had the same thing. We finished that. Yeah, so we worked on the door at Black Cat, but it used to be called Hidden Africa's. And what you used to do, you used to have a night on, every night you'd have somebody on, and he came better Manning. Lovely bloke, and I was massive on the door. I had a white shirt and I stood there. And he went, see that big bastard, I want him on stage with me. And Bernie McDevitt, Bernie, my mates from Redcar. Tony Stubbs was there, Tony John Black, Cookie, all them lads. John from Winky, John, not that one, the other John, our friend, Grangestown. Anyway, so on that he said, if he says it's Wednesday, it's Wednesday, and says, couldn't think of it. If he said it's fucking Christmas, good, King Wenceslas, that's and when I went on the stage with him, he said, make sure I don't get attacked on you, you know. Anyway, I looked after him there, and he shook my hand and everything. Lovely man. And we had loads of guests on there. And it was fun. We had like the basic rollers, all that type of people.
Big turns, weren't they?
The Four Tops, hot chocolate, all them type of people.
Four Tops and that, and, you know.
We looked after loads of people. This is a funny night. There are all these young girls all queued outside, packed. Some lads in that have packed, and John Black's on the door and that, and I stood there. And this lad popped his head in and he said, can I get in there, mate? He said, no, we're just waiting for this. We're just waiting for someone. He said, we're just waiting for this fucking dickhead called Eddie Kidd. He went, I'm Eddie Kidd. John had to leave it.
I remember John telling us the story.
Yeah, do you remember?
Yeah,
it was funny.
Yeah, and anyway, Max Bygrave's on. So anyway, they get the show going. And it's the best do they've ever had there, 1,000 meals. And they're bringing them out all individually. We just like mellowed down, chilled out, you know. Creators not dormant, and then we were just looking after them.
Yeah.
Max Bygrave's on with all these, this, that, and the other, hands, this, hands, that. I didn't like him, you know, he wasn't my cup of tea. But he was sat there anyway, and the main course came out. People were eating it. Then all of a sudden the sweet came out. Sorry, the starter of the main course. By the time the sweet come out, some people were just getting the starter.
Right.
And it was a total cock-up.
Disaster, yeah.
Afterwards it was great, but a total cock-up. And the same woman at the front with the Zimmer frame and the slab at the cranny. Max Bygrave's in the middle of he's singing and it's going down really well, the old thingy. And this woman stands up and says, Max! Where's my fucking apple crumble? Where's my apple crumble? Please, Max! And he had to stop the show. You know, start again.
Yeah.
She must have been, I think his mum. Charlie Bronson's mum. His stories are all funny, aren't they, you know? And so it's not all just about fighting on them, though. No. Good laughs, don't you? We had Red Bud on, remember them tank of feet they were on?
Oh, they were great, them.
Swaddy Waddy on. We had all them type of people on. All these, absolutely brilliant to meet all these people. All these
I worked a little bit with Mud just one night. That's great. They were very good.
He was only tiny, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. We
did him. Leo Sayre. Looked after him. Bob Geldof looked after him. I looked after him.
Bob Geldof,
every year, me and Sean Day. Are you right out there, Sean? Good mouth. Good to meet Sean. We went to the Stockton Festival, and the Bobbies were there, and we got the job. John Field was there. We were stood there, and
I remember that.
All wrecking crew coming, and everything. It's the first year we've had no trouble on again. Other festivals, 50,000 people turned up, don't there?
Was it about 1993, something like that? Yeah, I remember
that. 94, 95, 6, something like that.
Yeah, John Field, Sean, and you.
And all of a sudden, there was no trouble. A couple of good ways made his presence coming here, Cockerill.
It was a good catch.
There was only a few bobbies. It was usually loads. Nobody's going to cause trouble with me.
That was really good touch, that one.
It was good. You spent one for 3 days. But we met Leo Sayre. He was really tiny.
Yeah, I liked him, you know.
Good singer. There was loads of people we met over the years. And Gina G, with my other friend from Sunderland, looked after her. They were only on a bit. QFX, we did in the.
They were good when
I had to pay them £2,000. We used to have seen people them days used to do entertainment.
Yeah.
Especially at Henry Africa, Stockton, all the people know who lived there. People come to entertain you, but it's ruined it now because they don't have comedians, dancers coming on, singers. It was all every night you got something on, so it was good instead of just music. You know, it was just it was good. They'd have them on for an hour or so, and then they'd change it to the disco.
Yeah, they were really good times. You know, the turns that were on.
Yeah, they were.
You see, after Max Bygraves, he came off, and it was a winter's afternoon.
Yeah,
it was tea time dark by then.
Yeah,
and he knew me name. He shouted over. He said, "Kevin," he said, "on the way down, we got picked up at Darlington Station." First class travel. I said, yes, Max. He said, there was a very weird looking odd fella brought us down in Javits Rolls Royce. But pretty fair, you know, he was very, very odd. I said, you know who he is? He said, no, but I know he was the bloke who the women were in with a Zimmer frame. Kenny Gregory. So he said, would you, he said, I don't mind you, but would you mind driving me there? He said, because he's never had a bloody shave for a week, this fella.
Yeah, Kenny goes,
sorry, Ken. But...
He had a look up at the Bee Gees, didn't he, Kenny?
Yeah.
Nice man though, and his wife was nice woman.
Oh,
she
really
away,
good.
Didn't she?
Yeah, Angela, yeah. He's got a really good family.
So I was asking how many Sierra Codsworths did you have?
I had 6, I think it was. I taxed 2, and I bought, no, I taxed 3. We were talking to Thingy Pierce, Terry Pierce, car dealer. He went, oh, you come to mine. I thought you were going to tax 3, but I was always all right with a decent one. There was this gobshite, and he won't come to my garage and tax it. And I took it off him at Codsworth, the graphite grey one. It was up to 15 grand at the time.
They
were fast cars. Yeah, well, you know that.
You had one of them
Porsche 911, didn't I?
Porsche 911.
And he went to me, what have you been doing, robbing banks? Every day you come to different cars.
And you had one the Escort Cosworths, didn't you?
The Escort Cosworths. And all sorts of just everything you think of. I had
Jeep, Shoguns.
Scrappy's around there with my wife, covering it.
Everything. And another good story about tall trees. It involves Mick Brannigan. Well, I ended up working with Bob Monkhouse, and Bob Monkhouse came there, and
he was funny, wasn't he?
You're very good. I was literally the one who was right with Bob all the time.
Probably one of the best
overnight
all-round entertainers. And Bruce Forsyth, probably the best 2 ever entertainers on television programs.
I was with him. I'll tell you a story about him in a minute. But I was with him for 4 days. Went to Craythorne Hall with him. If anyone ever goes to Craythorne Hall, if they're lucky enough to go there, great place. Bob Monkhouse then stayed in what they call the Leaving Suite.
Right.
So if you ever go and you book in the Leaving Suite, the great Bob Monkhouse stayed there.
It's only year 19, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very good, I was. I'm not sure where it is now. And anyway, Mick Brannigan was there, and I'd looked after Bob Monkhouse a couple of weeks before. Mick said, Tom O'Connor's here. Tom O'Connor.
I moved from Liverpool.
Yeah.
I didn't mind him. He was quite funny.
I didn't mind him, but
there's
something about his haircut that seemed a bit odd. And I said to Mick, I'll do you a favour. You'll get a reference off him. You look after Tom O'Connor. He said, honestly, I said, you be with him, Mick. Wherever he goes, you go. I said, but don't lose sight of the dressing room and him. So he goes down, Tom O'Connor, and about 10 minutes later, I get a call on the walkie-talkie of Mick Brannigan. Is Kev there? Kev there? Yes, Mick, where are you? I just need a stage, Mick. Can you come and see me? No, I can't. Can I come and see you? You can, Mick, but don't lose sight of the doorway. Nothing will happen, but you need to keep your eye on the doorway where Tom is. Nothing will happen, but yeah, come and see me. So he comes up the side of the stage. He says, I just knocked on the doorway to Tom O'Connor. I said, it'd be 10 minutes, Tom. And he said, come in. I said, I opened the door. He said, and he's invited me in for a drink. I said, what do you mean a drink? He said, like a rum and coke. I said, oh, that's okay. Bob Monkhouse did to me. Go in. He said, but he's got no fucking clothes on. He's got no clothes on. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Manu, you went in, Mick, I think, didn't you?
But it was just for the drink, though.
Yeah. And another time, Mick did a bit of a trick to me. I think it was Mick. And Stu with me at the time, we were on the old tall trees. And he said, I've got this spray here, Kev. He said, I said, don't be bringing it. What is it? He said, it's pepper spray. Yeah. I said, Mick, get rid of it. Don't have it on here. He said, I said, it's a load of shit anyway. I said, it's not. I said, it's as good as. I said, it's as good as fucking the mouth spray, peppermint spray. Yeah. He said, it isn't. I said, here you go. And I thought he was carrying on. I didn't realise it was pepper spray. Yeah. I said, here, I'll show you how good that is. And I squared it in my mouth.
Fucking horrible. Purple.
Yeah.
There was a thing going around. Army lads used to come out then, and they used to come out with that siesta you can't see. Once the Leos one night, I think he hit the deck, couldn't breathe.
It's legal stuff.
It's horrible. And you can't just put it in Army lads for joke. Army lads, studs and then they dropped it and pelleting. I couldn't. I was crying in the face.
It was a proper pure stuff. So they used to make me hold it in my bag stores. And they'd give you the matches that you got to go with them, and they'd have like a the matches would have a big bulbous end, not to like them, and they were like little tablets. And I tell you who, God rest him, Mally.
Yeah.
Mally made a joint with one from somebody, and it was terrible. And the lad collapsed, but they were 100% pellets, and weren't they?
Yeah, they horrible. Going back to CS spray, outdoors sometimes it's not effective even with army and military and police and that. Because it can blow back into you, but indoors it's lethal. But they do have a spray gel, you know, the SAS and that. And the SAS have one, which actually knocks it out completely. I've seen it in action actually with my brother.
Probably to kidnap people. So like you'll get them away, not
things onto the face.
Get rid of them straight away.
Going back to Tall Tree stories again. I had the pleasure one time of working with Peter Stringfellow.
Oh yeah, Peter Stringfellow.
King of clubs.
Well, he wanted me to go down to the club. The Lennox Lewis was going. There was loads of people. There was like a night where it was all people dressed up as different people. That could have been the time I was thinking. He asked me to go down there just wear the door with him.
He had the, what did they call the club again? Was it Your Eyes Only and Angels?
I'm not sure what the club of Peter Stringfellow, but it was down there one at London. It was McIntyre that was telling me to go with Dave Courtney, all that was going down and everything, but obviously I never went. But
he was up, and anyway, it was my job to be with him at the time, and that he was very fanboy, and he was camera great on him. Someone had take a photograph there and he put over, and even though he was king of clubs, in another way, Javad in his own right was, because he was nightclub of the year.
Yeah, he won.
And he came up to see Javad.
He had weird haircut, hair, didn't he?
Yeah,
weird hairstyle.
Very strange. Yeah. He was known for wearing dodgy looking G-strings and stuff like that. Wasn't he?
He was a bit odd, wasn't he?
That's
why I never went down there. On the door, to tell you the truth.
So let's just ask what's happened to Javad.
Well,
he's just retired now, isn't he?
He's retired, but I think he's got his hands in a few things. He's got a lot of property yet to buy. I seen him in the casino a while ago with these.
I seen Jimmy D from.
He looked well, Javad.
We seen Jimmy D around Tesco's. You remember me, Jimmy? Of course, give me a cuddle and everything. So I said, "Buggly, go over the."
He looked well, actually. I couldn't get a drink from my throat.
You can't
get a drink in this house. I tell you, I'll have a Coke, please.
But going back to Javad and Pete.
I was respectable, Javad, and me.
He's very, very good.
Yeah, I remember one night I phoned up the mall and I went, "I need some mechanic Coke," you know, and I was like, them did. And he went, "What do you mean?" So I phoned up and Javad said, "Just send it in the taxi." He went, "What are you always on for this big massive bottle?" He said to me, "Nothing." Because I went in one night with a shorts on, and the doorman went, "You can't go in like that." And people kept scolding. He went, "Finally, I said, I'm not coming in." So Javad come up and he went, "Do you want a meal?" He took me down for a meal. You remember that? You'll remember.
Kevin was a great tall lad, you know.
He was lucky because he was really good at talking to people. He could have a fight and everything, but
he could have a fight. He was one of the class tall lads, you know.
Blessed with the gift of
and he was
talking people out and knocking them out. He was really good.
He was at Dorman at the Kirk when the Kirk got in its prime in 1978, 77, 1980, and that, you know. But Javad himself, going back when we were at Bentley's, he was really good and funny, and he'd have, even though it was only Bentley's, he'd have 2 outfits, 3 outfits in the office, little office. Come down, have his white suit jacket on, red.
Oh, it was immaculate.
Middle of the night, he'd change again, you know. And I remember a couple of times there was trouble at the door, and he'd have a little bit of a fight, you know.
He used to get stuck in, didn't he?
Get stuck in, yeah.
Wasn't scared.
I remember him once of the pound coins. I'm not sure what year it was that came out, but the pound coins was in operation, and Javad, something happened. This dickhead was at the door, and we went to give him a bat. Jav said, "Leave him." Leave him. Jav said, "I'll deal with this. I've got something for you. Wait a minute." Went in, got the bag, you know, the sack what they're in. Pound coins, about 50 of them, and went out.
Over the edge. Yeah, we didn't know. There was a big, massive brawl down there. All the wrecking crew coming up, so there was about 50 of them. And we used to back the ball door. We're not me, Cookie, and Tony.
They're all mates now. The wrecking crew.
Yeah.
Some good lads.
But like at the time, we were at one club. We went for John Black with Kenny Gregory, and we'd run down. We were 20 odd years old at the time, and there'd be massive brawls in the street. I mean, the police went that bothers really. And so somebody had to press charges. You know, you just had the fight, and it was over, and then everything was back to normal the next day.
Yeah, some good lads there, Sinker and them, and all the lads. Kev Walker, I don't know whether Kev's part of the wrecking crew.
Yeah.
The man,
could have a lads.
There's some very good lads there, you know.
Marty Man was a good lad, but he wasn't in that stuff.
He was
he was an athlete when he was in all the training. One of the best, probably if not the best in this area, what he did in that kickboxing.
What he did
really skillful.
I think he influenced.
And he got him a shot. He rubbed underneath. He shot him. He was the door when they actually tried to stop me coming in. Him rubbed underneath. Marty probably be glad about this.
Still training, Robbie.
I said I'm coming in here, and he went and just let me in. Yeah, I had a drink of that Stella. I walked in that night, but there was a bit of pitch all in the past now, isn't it? But
there's been some sad things that happened, and I'd say going back to this Peter Stringfellow thing, Javad got us all in the restaurant room, and he invited us in to see Peter Stringfellow, and he said, this is Peter Stringfellow, and Peter was talking to us, and one of the other managers was talking to Peter, and he said, this is it wrong. You all right, Terry?
I tell you, mate, all right, mate.
He said, this other manager said to Peter Stringfellow, this is how I think your doorman should be on about us. And he said, they're very good doorman. And he said, but I think, he was with Peter Stringfellow, he said, when you've got the door lined up here for VIP guests, paying guests, he said, and in that lineup, and we're all listening, you see some, not Peter Stringfellow, his friend, said, you see some stunning women, big, tall women, slim figures, lovely. He said, your job should be to go out and have a look at them and say to these nice women, would you like to come in as our guest? Would you like to come in as our guest? He said, and that'll flatter them and people will follow them in. I said, I know what you're saying. I said, but to be honest with you, I said, I do that to overweight women that don't look very good at all. You know, I'm a normal person, because they're as good as them. But Peter Stringfellow went like that to me. What class. What class. Why favour the beautiful women? And it's right. Why favour anyone, you know?
We're all the same. We all bleed. We all cry. We all think, oh, this is the worst day I've ever had. And everyone should love each other as well. And there should be more people love each other. I just did that little bit of generosity to say hello. But thank you very much. And polite manners and stuff. I was brought up with manners, made respect. And you give respect, you get respect. If you end like a fool, you end up being, you get called names, bullies and things like that. So
another, which I thought was a really good story, this, and it involved myself actually. I just took over the Rosebery pub, managing it with Stamp, you know, Stewie Stamp.
Stewie Stamp.
Great lad. He was funnier than Chubby Brown.
He was. He used to tell you, he had me. I went in. He had trouble at the Newmarket, wasn't he? And there was a lad there.
Market
Tavern. I was saying the Market Tavern. I mixed up the Market Tavern. And there was a lad there. He got out of jail, did about 4 years. He was horrible, knocking old men out in his 70s and that. And he got chased out the town. I went looking for him. He never come back. He went, he's gone. He's just left his house and everything. The cars are driving. He just jumped in the taxi and went and come back. Yeah, it's in the book.
Is it? Yeah.
Which is that's the old book we've got. If anybody wants to buy it, The Taxman, the original 2005, and that's the new one we've got, which is Brian Cockerill, Lee Duffy, Taxman and Teesside.
Kevin Kilty's in it.
Kevin Kilty's in it. My best friend Kevin Kilty, little Teddy before. We had some great times. Teddy, we used to talk with Teddy all the time, and Teddy was always a joker, always messing about, always having a laugh. Always liked by all the people.
Didn't have a care for.
Didn't care.
Not a care. He didn't. He was. He cared for everyone.
He cared for everybody. Was fearless.
But he didn't have a care about problems, did he?
No, he didn't. He just hit you in the head of that.
I never actually went to the steam packet. You know, not through any reason.
I'm not being disrespectful.
Not many people could have pulled that off.
I'm not being disrespectful to Teddy, but probably the roughest place in Britain. I'm kidding you not. It was absolutely people getting stabbed every other week. I used to go in.
Like Roadhouse.
He used to say to me, "Oh, you've done it again." I went, "What?" They've all left because you've come. It was all the slinks. I said, "Well," he said, "Come in a bit later, about 4 or 5." But the ones who were all over couples about it, but never no trouble when I was
mega popular,
never, ever.
And probably unique in the country. That
of course, it's no one else. Not in the country.
Territory, you know.
Yeah, and we used to go in. I always used to pay for drinks. He said, "Oh, but I always still has to pay the man for something." Yeah. And I used to make him take the money. He'd go, "No, you're the only one who does this," and he'd go mad with me. I thought, yeah, but he had that for years, so 6 years.
Done well with that. It had a big name, didn't it? You know what I mean? The people from everywhere went there. I never went myself.
A lot of travellers used to go. And I tell you, you know who we met there? You'll never believe. Was the snooker player. What do you call him? Alex Higgins.
Really?
Yeah, he was in there. He was in there and he was doing a book. His life story. He was really painfully thin. The cancer had got him, and he was in there. And Dave Woody had introduced. He said, "This is Brian Cockerill. He's the main lad round here." And this is, I said, "Oh, Alex Higgins." He was tiny. You know, when you see him on the telly, he looked a lot bigger. And he's jumping on me back, and somebody stole his coat.
Really?
And somebody pinched his coat out in there that night. Terry tried to get him. Oh, brilliant! But he was there. He was
Hurricane Higgins.
Hurricane Higgins. Hurricane Higgins. Yeah, he was there. Yeah, he was right. He was always there. Referees. Because Irish, funny. It's the same as us. Irish he was, so
proper wild man.
Yeah, he was good. He was good though, player.
Yeah, he was.
He was a people's choice, one of people's champion.
Yeah, he was great, wasn't he? Yeah, going back to Macmillan's the story, which it probably sickened the police in one way. This, and I'd got picked up from a taxi 9 o'clock, well, 8:30 Friday, Saturday night when the big night was there.
Yeah.
And obviously, there probably was drugs in Macmillan's end, but I honestly got I went involved in it.
I know that.
Got the taxi up, and anyway, as I'm getting there, the security lad runs about 50 metres away from the main door. No customers in yet.
Yeah.
Kevin, the coppers are here. How many of them? Easy 12 or 14, Kevin, CID. He said, "They're waiting for you. I know they're waiting for you." And I paused the taxi driver. Luckily, I knew the taxi driver. And I paused a minute and I thought, and I had a bag with me in Old Hall, and I said to the taxi driver, "Take that Old Hall back to the pub." I said, "There's nothing dodgy in it, but there was something in it what I could have used to defend myself."
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It got really bad, you know.
Yeah.
But it wasn't nothing really bad, but there was no drugs or nothing like that in it.
It was just a Kalashnikov.
It was an MP5. So anyway, goes in, surrounds me. "Can you take your Crombie off, please?" Start taking off. Said, "Listen, we've had off good information, Kevin, and been operation. We're going to probably arrest you at night." I had my other Old Hall with us.
Yeah.
A little one. "We believe that you're supplying drugs to Macmillan's. Believe you were the main person, and you blah blah blah. Have you any drugs on you?" And I said, "I actually have, but the only drugs I have on is some lansoprazole and some beta blockers."
Yeah.
I said, and I was probably a little bit cheeky. I said, "So if you want to fucking search me, no problem." I wait there, smiling. They searched, and one of them says, "You're wasting your time. He's not got anything on him. Oh, he's too clever for it," which he wasn't. I was too clever. I didn't do it.
Didn't you? Didn't do it, no.
I didn't do it. Anyway, when they went, my adrenaline was going a bit, not through fear, and I thought, why didn't Lal and Kenny Gregory, what Kenny didn't know, tell me? And I pulled Kenny. Kenny said, "Kevin, I knew that about it." I said, "Someone must have done."
Yeah, because they've got to give the word, haven't you? Yeah.
Go and get see Lal.
Yeah.
I went into the office and Lal was sat there doing his paperwork. Great bloke. "Hello, Kevin, how are you doing?" "All right." "See, the police have just been here." Says, "Lal, do you not think it was bad that you couldn't have phoned me up, told me that the police were waiting here for me?"
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Then casually put his pen down. He says, "Kevin, you were the best doorman I've ever worked with." He said, "I didn't have to. I knew." He didn't have a swear. He said, "I knew you'd have fuck all on me. I know you weren't dealing with that."
Yeah.
And he said, when the police came back in, I said, "Bye. Have you checked him out now?" So give Lal his due, and you all wasn't up to it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the story.
It's amazing. Everyone saying loves the stories.
Yeah, that was all true, weren't they?
There's lots more. And next week I'm gonna. There's another story I want to tell about Macmillan's.
Yeah.
Honestly, maybe it's a good idea if I can just do the questions with you.
Yeah, that's all right. Just say, I'll be sure. Just call you. Kevin's the taxman.
Any stories on Ernie Buick?
Ernie Buick, yeah. Ernie Buick, brilliant lad. Lovely lad. One of my best friends. He said, I'm the best fighter he's ever seen, but I also he's the best fighter I've ever seen. But lovely man from Sunderland. All the doors up there. Big Brian Lofton, Wayne, Bob Brawl, all of them used to go up there and used to see them. Been up there for tons of times, fighting people with him. And we went in the club one night, and then you'll remember this. And it was these doormen, they had white jackets on, and they had a black dicky balls. And the doorman was like, oh, we weren't going to let us in. I said, yeah. I just pushed past him, being ignorant of this bloke. It was Eddie, he was running the town, Eddie. Ian Freeman used to work up there for him and that. He was a world champion, he's another great lad. He was a world champion cage fight, absolutely. Like, not one of these pretend ones.
Oh,
got the proper all over America and everything.
I mean, you can make any titles up now, can't you? This, that,
you go to the shop and buy a belt, I'm the world champion, it's just made up. And then when you check up them, all you have to do is, anyone who says they're world champion, go on Facebook, put the name in, it'll come up. If you Mike Tyson, comes through it. We put anyone, Garside, 45, 5.
Box records, called, isn't it?
Yeah, you put it in anything, any type of mixed martial arts, anything you can check to see if they've made it up. But yeah, so we go to this club, and there was about, I don't know, 7, 8 doormen in, and they all started to come near us. And I said to Eddie, I said, I think he's going to have a go here. And he said, oh, that's the dog in the background having a sniff of help or something. So the next minute I went, do you want to fucking go? Jumping, no, the asses went. So we were coming out, and I said, oh, this is his club, because they run this dog out the area. So as we going out, there was a man and woman fighting in the street. So the fight like man, I broke it up. But the police came over and arrested me, and then he went, that's not what we're doing. And the copper was lucky we were there. The copper in the street said, he broke it up, so let me off. But we had loads of fun with there, and he used to come to the. I got him one night. You remember this, Ernie? I used to go into the park. You couldn't drink in the raves. You could get a rave. You could open it.
Just water.
You could only have water or Coca-Cola. So I used to get Coke. I'd go to the 4 o'clock shop in Stockton and get the Bacardi in there and go in, put it in the Bacardi. What's that Coke? I love it. And he went, fucking hell. And it was Bacardi. And he went, and I started him having a little drink on the door with him because he didn't drink, you see. And he used to have a few mouths with him. We had some fun with him. He's one of them people, all the others you could go out with, you couldn't trust them. You had to keep your chin down when you're talking to them. These top fighters, you ones like Viv Graham's and people like that, you couldn't trust them. But then he off my head, full of drugs, full of drink.
I like the meeting. And he
never never felt fear.
Yeah.
I never felt anything because he could fight for fun. You know, he fought a big lad up there, Newcastle way, 6'4". He went on his own. Went there, had the fight with the lad, beat him. Viv Graham met him on the sly. And then Ernie went back to have a go with him, and he apologised to Ernie and said, the lads who, I won't mention the lad's name, but the lads who we had the fight with was like a dad to him type of thing. So lovely bad Ernie.
He's got a very, very, very good reputation. I've not heard people speak bad of him.
You know what? I've never heard not one person call him, not a soul call him. And
I like to meet him.
He loves me a bit. I love him a bit.
I knew he.
Why don't you drag out?
I knew he really liked Bri.
The other week when he said, "I love you,"
I knew the bloke tonight.
Our big Joe Egan was on the phone for about 30 minutes. I said, "Thank you for the support, Joy." I said, "It's an honour." He said, "No, big fella, it's an honour to help you. I love you too." And absolutely lovely man.
He's a real hard man. You know,
7
I
times.
think people think we're mesmerised with hard men. We're not.
No.
Giving credit where it's
Big
due.
Joe, Big Joe Egan, for people who don't know him, he was a 7 times Irish champion heavyweight boxer, and he sparred with the great Mike Tyson. And Tyson said he was the hardest white man he ever sparred with in his life. Hardest man is white man. Absolutely. Big Joe says, Big Joe's response to it, because he's dead humble. He said, no, just the hardest man in the gym that day. He's just a lovely man. He's a lovely, lovely man. He's going to come up and see us. He can't tolerate bullies.
Yeah, I know.
And that's why he's helped us with this. The campaign we've got us. But everyone out there has been Tony Turner. Brilliant lad, isn't he? Terry Ellis, Ben Spann, all these other people have been helping us. It's been brilliant, isn't it? And Les Peacock, I've got a thing for him to do this week. He's a good lad from Newcastle. Loads of kids out there supporting us and them.
See, some of these people who were making comment about you, Bryce. Some people, there's probably a few I don't know, but some of them might make comments, for instance, oh, he hasn't done that, he hasn't done that, he wasn't this, he wasn't that.
Yeah.
How old are some of them people? Some of them only 30, 35.
Yeah.
How the fuck would use them? You know, I was there and I was his friend, not because he's a hard man. And this man here could be very, very fast, can punch, can take punches better than anyone. And he can be very, very, very violent when he wants to be. And some people should be glad that it's not a while ago. It's not that he's past it, it's that he's got lots to live for now. You know.
Really came out the other day and a couple of people threw up the road. And I lost my temper for the first time. So I had to get Tony Grange and he come on the phone and help me, didn't he? Calm me down, but I lost the plot. With all this carry on, but yeah, I calmed myself down. Now Tony's prayed for me and we're happy. But the thing is, we were getting called liars about this situation. It's got to escalate now that we're not liars. Believe me, the people, the perpetrators, they will be brought to justice. It's absolutely horrendous, isn't it?
Yeah.
And broke my
and thank you to the people who've come forward.
Yeah, and all the people who've come forward, told us the stories, especially
from the historic abuse.
What's he called, the lad from
Simon Ambler.
Sam Ambler from Wakefield, the author. Yeah. Lovely story he told the other day, didn't he? He's made written as that.
Is he author, book writer?
His dad had a book out about the half-scarple.
Because you need to do a couple more books.
Yeah, that story what you read earlier on, you obviously won't speak about. Unbelievable, the next one.
You need to do some of the books. I even mentioned the Terry Dicko
Dave Thomas, thank you.
Yeah, Dave Thomas from Eston, another one who's come forward and told us a great story. But that's been taken down as well. So there's loads, isn't there? And
you need to do another book, you know. Definitely need to. I even said to Terry he needs to, but do one in his words, of his man, of his character. Because I could tell a few stories about him which he doesn't even know. I know.
Yeah, of course.
And funny as fuck, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He didn't give a shit about now, did he? But he was lucky, Terry, you know, and I'm glad he hasn't. If you're watching Terry. I give him compliments for how forgiving and patient he's been. He's given people a chance after chance after chance. The people are very lucky. Again, it wasn't a few years ago.
Well, Terry,
because
that's the police actually come here for Terry on the edge of situation.
Terry's been in jail doing life.
We've got the police actually came here looking for Terry because they'd sent them. Saying when he threatened their kids.
This is
and threatened them with
how many times was it the police?
4 times they come. Phoned the door on my wife, phoned the customs, phones the sick advice group people, never ending, but every time they come, the lies they've made up and spawn the lies. But this man from Wakefield, who's just buried them now with the statement he's made, it's just phenomenal. The proof he's got, all the screenshots, everything. It's just, you've read it yourself, Kevin. It was absolute. My friend Rob Holloway from Dingy, lovely lad, he used to say he supported. He said these people are crazy, absolutely crazy. So all these things are supposed to be lying, and my wife's lying. It's all going to come out. I promise you. I'm not being funny, but it's a bit like Jimmy Savile. Carry on. It's just like that. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it's all there. The truth, you know. Yeah,
Terry, what he looked like years ago, and a little bit now, you know.
Yeah.
When he was a little kid, as I was when I said I seen him at the fairground, he'd have got a part in Once Upon a Time in America when the kids were on the Brooklyn Bridge and that.
But he looked like Kess. Kess off the film Kess. He looked like him. I spit and pop with him, but he's just done my garden blessing today. I tried to offer him a few quid and he wouldn't take it. He is a humble lad. He changed his life around like I have. And he's just not into violence. It's to try to help someone. I'll tell you a little story the other day. He was in a taxi, getting a taxi, didn't have a lot of money on him. Going to his house, found a purse in the taxi, went, here mate, I found a purse here. And my mates just to say there's a lovely place in Thornby in there. What's it called?
Oh, the Flaming Grill.
The Flaming Grill. Which is Shabs. Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. The food.
Shab, if you're watching now, I'm going to give you a call. And
babe.
Looks excellent.
We've had the meals.
We actually showed us the tour. We were going to have our wedding party. Because we never managed to have our dance because we were all ill.
Through the trolls.
So we're going to have party in there this year, so you're
it looks great. And the two great blokes, you know.
Yeah, they're lovely.
Shab and Emmy, the two great, really
they were so lovely. They were saying like Brian's like our brother and Cockerill.
Got a lot of respect.
He said I still wouldn't like a bunch of Brian.
And I tell you what, they're both training really good. Especially the train with Reggie Long.
Shab's looking good.
The training.
I had trouble one day, and I asked them to come up. A couple of travellers supposed to be coming, a few of the lads to the house. There's about 120 of them outside my house within about 20 minutes. Whole street was full of them. They're all stood to me, you know, absolutely brilliant lads.
Very good lads. And
they're not doing
very well liked.
They're not into fans, but they back their friends up and they stand by you.
They don't try and get popularity. They're just very
lovely people.
But Terry, I'll go back this time with Terry Street fans this person in the taxi. I think it was about 4 or 5 days ago. And he said that one of Shab's drivers and Marvin's my brother, no, the ones Indian lads, Pakistani lads, lovely lads. And it was, I think, £300 or £400 in the purse. So he looked in the ID and checked the thing and found it was an old woman. She'd come out the Zimmer, I think, or something like that, or a carer or something. And the carer come on the phone, that was it, and said, "Oh, thank you very much for what you've done, and thank you." So the taxi driver phoned him and said, "Thank you very much for what you've done."
It's great.
So then it comes back on you, and he called it.
It's something we would do that, you know.
That's our old school. I did it once.
Do.
I was in Billingham as a kid, and I went to get some presents in Middlesbrough. I got the train through, and I was at this used to be Greg's. And they used to have a booth where you could sit in, like where you could sit a few of you round the seats and you'd sit in there eating. And anyway, this old lady got up, must be about 70, with a purse fell out of her pocket just on the floor. And I said, "Here, love, you've dropped your purse." "Oh, thank you." She said, and he grabbed me and said, "It's all the grandkids' money, there's £600 in it." And this was when I was about 18 years old. Probably like £2 now or something, but you couldn't live with yourself thinking you took that money, you know.
My motto, honestly, to God, I couldn't. I think if I took that and it was someone wose money that was well earned or whatever, whether a rich person or poor, that's going to bring me bad luck. That, you know, that it's not right. A few times in cash machines, people have walked away. Well, the day I did just for 20 quid. Have you left this, mate?
Well, then a friend came round to see us, a lad, well-to-do lad, doing business, come to see he'd got a book, and he dropped his wallet at the door, and Emma found it, and there was £2.5 grand in it. She phoned me up, so I think you've dropped your wallet. He went, "Oh, there's £2.5 grand in that." They must have been going to pay bills or something. And he went, "Oh, anyone else would have just kept that. I wouldn't have had a clue." He said, "I would have lost it," but you can't do that, your friend.
No, you can't. No.
Do you want a chicken sandwich?
No, but I'll have another little bit of that, please. But you can do as one to take with it.
I'll take you for a bottle.
You know, years ago.
It costs a fortune to keep with you.
You know, I used to have I used to make a joke of it, but I used to have exclusive Christmas dinner of beans on toast, you know. That's a good.
Do you like
I'm only kidding, man.
Do you like cheddar coleslaw as well?
Yeah.
You can have the podcast here. What are you doing? Thinking about our dinner and thinking about my food. She's forgot all about you guys. Winky watched the night. Winky, just seen his name there.
Oh, Winky's a good lad.
Good. Sounds of
I don't know him well, Winky, but I spoke to him in the Don Bar a few years ago.
I'm saying it, I know him,
and he had a chat to me, and he said, "Your son's doing great, Richard. Just tell him to make sure he keeps away from the Amazon." And you're right, Winky. You're right.
Maximus Aurelius is saying, "I'll have a cheese sauce, Emma, please."
Yeah,
he's good lads, and he army lads.
And I think Winky's got a boxing gym now, and he trains some of the younger lads and that. And
he's really good lad.
Yeah, another little story, Bri, about Macmillan's. You'll know who it is, but I'm not going to mention his name. And not that we wanted any problems or trouble anyway. It was just a safeguard thing. It was a Christmas time on a while ago, and it's going a bit.
I'll just say thank you to Ben Dockley as well, who's obviously come out with what his statement about these trolls as well. Another lad, top boxer from London, Terry Ellis, Tony Turner, all the other Rob Ellis, all had it, you know, just never ending with him. So sorry, mate, come on.
And there'd been a call to say that the tall trees was going to get robbed after time. They used to take maybe sometimes 30-40 grand a night then. And what we were going to do about it, and Javas says, anyone comes here to try and rob it, just give them the money. And my great friend and mentor, Betty Bury, if she's watching, said, no, well, me and Dennis will stay back. And Dennis Bury, who was older than me, he's dead now, God bless him.
Yeah.
Me and him sat back in the restaurant waiting all night. Not that we were going to try and apprehend, we were just going to put it all off, and stood there all night waiting for this to happen. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
Listening to Glenn Campbell songs, you
know,
drinking coffee, you know,
we had some fun over the years for Terry as well. So, me and Terry used to do the debts. We used to do debts. Say, for instance, people would say, we owed £2,000 or something, and somebody had ripped them, they couldn't get it through the court, and so me and Terry would go like 50-50, and I used to always say, Sean Day started with a saying, he used to say, half a loaf is better than no loaf of bread. So half the money for you and half for us. So we do the debt, me and Terry, and we go, and we went to a few places. And he says, sometimes I'd go, it's not the money, you know. He said, it's the principle. So I said, all right, well, I'll keep the money and you keep the principle then. It was always the money. They go, no. But we used to have good laughs with Terry, but he used to always torture people with Brian. He used to want to pinch the pigeons on the pub. He's making it up, joking. I was pissing him out. It was him, Brian. Now we got red because the lad said, Brian, I've never had a pigeon in my life, but he was right. Brian, he's the one who was in your pigeon loft and pinched your pigeon. And everyone in the pub would be laughing because Terry'd have them over. We had some great laughs, you know. We still have great laughs. We've been here today with Tony, not Tony Turner, sorry, but the other one, Marty Turner, the boxing legend trainer. And he was talking to Joe Egan for about 20 minutes or something. Telling us all the stories about Joe Egan, and when Joe came on, he was telling us the stories about Marty, where he went to Sweden, I think, with him to boxing place like that, and he was on about Cornelius Carr and people like that. So Marty knows this man really well. But we've had a good day. We went to Redcar, see Big John Pickering, and he got if you can see smoke, John Pickard. Sorry, if you can see smoke coming in, we're not on fire system with an e-cig. He's got a new e-cig off John. So thank you very much, John, for that. Go on, Kev.
Yeah, another one I was just going to mention, you know, when I was on about that New Year's Eve thing where, well, I don't know whether it was New Year's Eve, Christmas, and we stayed back all night with Dennis. But another funny story I was told off a lad who I know pretty well. He just sold his hotel for, I won't mention his name.
Yeah.
We sold his hotel for 220 grand. And he's a really small bloke, and something happened and he was coming around here to see you, and he got in a taxi with someone. I'm not sure what it was over.
Yeah.
Wasn't trouble.
Yeah.
I think he owed you some money or something. Whatever. And come in, gave the money to you, come back to Rebels where I have a drink. It was only about 6 years ago, this. And he come in, he went, I'm in shock. Said, what's the matter, Steve? Steve, they called him, you know what I mean. I'm in shock. He's laughing. He said, give me a drink, get the drinks in. Get the drinks in, everyone, have a drink. Give me the flash. Ali sold his hotel 220 grand. God, he said, you won't believe what I've just seen. I'll take it to my grave. What? I've just been to Bride Cockerill's house. I've seen him at the top of the stairs in a pair of boxer shorts. Oh! He was that mesmerised by you know what I mean, don't you say?
Yeah, so I remember we used to go out, and I never caused trouble. People would come to me, and there was this army lad, he's like 6 foot, 6'4", 6'5", 6. This is the lad where I hit in the club, but there was another kid in the week before, and he was like as big as, I said in the book, he was as big as Eddie Elwood, but that idiot,
he misworded
and said it was Eddie Elwood, but it wasn't Eddie.
Misworded it.
So anyway, what happened is he was walking around massive, and he's bullying everyone, and he come at me, and I just fucking banged him. He looked great with all the muscles laid on the floor, but it wasn't actually Eddie. So I was just trying to describe to the people in the book what type of size he was. I was actually giving him a compliment.
And I think if you remember, I went up next to him.
And then there was another kid in there we were in, and it was with Mally, he's not here now, and a few lads from Hartlepool. And the lads were 4, 6, 5, or 17 stone. He said, oh, I'm the champion boxer in the army. I was on charges, I had 2 or 3 charges up for assaults. Oh, shit, piss us off. We had a few drinks, got him a drink. And sometimes people take your kindness as a weakness. And he said to me, with you being so big, you'd probably be slow and you get out of breath quick. And my friend Peter O, who's no longer with us, stabbed by cowards. Lovely lad from Meston, brilliant person.
I met him, nice lad, yeah.
Good run, he used to run up the hills with backpacks, fittest lad I've ever met. He used to go in the bag, do 20-minute rounds, and he was brilliant, you know.
He looked the part as well.
Oh, he was brilliant, ripped to the bone, and lovely man. And this lad was going on anyway. Pete was with his missus, and it was in Manhattan's. Anyway, this kid come at me, and I went boom, hit him this right uppercut and just knocked him clean out. I said, was that fast enough for you? And he woke up. And Peter run over, he went, you only throw a punch from about 3 or 4 inches. Took his head clean off, nearly said. And then there was another night we were in there. I was a lad out to at the door, he's from Gisborne. I won't mention the lad's name. Big lad, big ginger lad. I want to fight you. So I always stand with that fight with Duffy when he'd be on the slide, the first fight. I always stand with my chin down now when I talk to people in case they get caught. So it keeps me right. So he says, so he tried to, most people, what they do is they can't throw a left hook. You can only throw the straight right. So they have to put the left foot forward and the right foot back flat to throw the right hand. So if you square them off, once you walk across them, so you can't throw that punch. And he kept sneaking his foot down to try and hit me with his right hand. In the end, I went bang, noted him in the face, broke his nose. He goes, I'm the best. We were still saying to me, I'm the best fighter in Gisborne, I'm this and I'm that. I said, look, behave yourself. And somebody said I was in there with a gun that night. The police had been, but it wasn't, it was somebody else. Anyway, he goes, I'm the best fighter in Gisborne. So I said, I want to fight you. And I went, I noted him and I broke. He still got a big split right across his nose. Jumped up again, noted him again. He went down again, his nose was even worse. And when he got up, I went, I guess I must be the best fighter in Gisborne now, am I? Yeah, but that's a true story.
Yeah, I say some of the people, when some of these people now all making course who are, you know, under 40, 30, 35 and that, they've never been around, and you can't predict something or say something.
It's only 20 years later. Something.
I mean, you were perfect, even though I'm not encouraging violence. But a lot of people were working you up trying to come here where you were that big, you could hit, which is very hard to do with a short travelling punch, 6 or 7 inches.
Well, he said to me,
knock people out, you know.
Well, he said to me,
he's quite
the
sick
big lad,
at times, you know.
Richie Horsley, good lad from Hartlepool. He said, I've never seen anyone generate that much power. Not being big, I'm just telling you. That's short distance. He said, they can't get away because you caught them. And I used to hit them on the chin there and break the jaw in 3 places, and it would be called the guardsman's fracture. I will tell you why it's called the guardsman's fracture. The guards stand on duty for the Queens, and the fall and the pivot of the chin that breaks in 3 places. And I went up with a taxi driver who you paid off for the remember that one. I won't mention his name. And he hit him once and broke his jaw in 3 places. Barry Stewart, the great Barry Stewart, was a barrister. Got enough of that charge.
Bad injuries. The thing is, Brian, as I say, we're not promoting it.
No, it's just what happened in the past.
We probably, at times, obviously, you more so, we might have hit people who we didn't want to, or you'd like to apologise to them, but there's some people you've clobbered who deserved it, but you have inflicted quite a lot of serious injuries on, and you were probably lucky that you didn't kill someone.
Yeah, that's what any
but then again, you fucking have, haven't you?
Well, then, today with that them statement, they're finished. Yeah, so Ernie, he come down and had a fight with Dave Yarside, who's all right with us now. It was just the old days.
Dave was a great boxer.
Oh, he was a great boxer.
Amateur career.
He went to pro.
And before that one, he had a great pro career.
Yeah, he actually fought.
He was ABA champion, so he had a good background.
Absolutely brilliant boxer. He fought for the British heavyweight title against Horace Notice, and he was standing his ground for 6 rounds. And Horace Notice was a brilliant fight for Liverpool. And he had, I think, like 44 fights. No more.
I think he's promoting licenses fights now, and he's done well for himself, hasn't he? And I think did he marry Brian London's daughter?
Right, yeah.
I don't know Dave well. I've spoken to him, but he's done very well.
He owned half a Blackwater.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
But people caused trouble. And he said, she said, he said, she said, and that's why Lee Duffy was probably where he used to do that. Lee Duffy would wind up like a clockwork toy. A couple of people used to say, he said this about you, he said that, Lee, and Lee would go and hit them. But I learned to live. You've got to check up first.
A lot of people did wind him up and like to be with him for his protection, but wind him up too early, you know. Was daft.
Well, the stories about Lee punching people every day was absolute nonsense. We knew him, didn't we? He was fighting. He used to love the challenge. And
I mean, I think in one sense you really, even though I didn't see much of you at the time, I think you probably really calmed him, not calmed him down, but
he said,
reined him in, you know.
He said to his partner, he said,
you weren't there the night he died,
he's the unstoppable force. He said he's like giant haystack, monstrous. Scotch Bryan, Dave Thomas, who comes in the week, was telling the stories because Dave actually worked with him. He went to school with him. He said, oh, I get him. And he said, what? He said, he half went down, pushed himself up and dragged me around. He said, Dave said, Lee said,
unbelievable.
Just strength. He said, at the end of the day, he said, I get him with my best shot.
But that's every strength, right? You know, your jaw, everything.
Well,
most men in the world would have went down because it was a bit sneaky. I won't go into it,
he did it, to be honest.
It was sneaky, but most men in the world would have went down there. But
he did say when we shut me on, he said, "Oh, you were just too strong." When you got older, that was a nightmare. But
I mean, he was relieved that you got back together.
Yeah, but he phoned us up, King's Head, and phoned us up, and I went and seen him. Mark Miller took us there, shook hands.
Carol, Brian, she's
hello, Carol.
Hello, Carol.
Carol was his partner, two children to him.
I was just going to mention
Peter,
Carol,
lovely lady. But Lee wasn't as bad as what these trolls are saying and trying to make money out of him and tell lies about him making things up. And that's the reason why all this troll started, because me and my wife pulled away from the book. We wouldn't do the Lee Duffy book because it was all lies, about them pinching out of pound shops that didn't exist. About another story was Lee supposed to be going to get shot that night. There was 4 men with shotguns going to shoot him on the corner. There was another one where 8 men come out and beat him up. They said with crowbars and nearly killed, battered him to death nearly, but there wasn't a mark on him. I thought, I've never read these stories, so that's why I pulled out. And the stories, he was punching people. He was saying it was that narcissistic. He used to want to break everyone's jaw and knock them out. Brian used to want to make the money. I said, no, he didn't do that at all. You only hit one person of South Bank, and you only hit that person because he bullied him at school. So Lee went over and slapped him. Me and Craig Owen, Lee used to meet Lucy run about. Craig had died for fun.
Was Craig knocking about his ass?
Yeah, Craig was there.
I bet you had some
saying where that idiot troll was written book. He's going, now then. He didn't say it like that. He said it like this, now then. Oh, you're doing, big fella. That's how he talked. It wasn't now then, like Jimmy Savile. Nothing to do with Jimmy Savile. So I told the troll, and he started writing this in the books, and just misconstrues everything of lies. But Craig used to go, now then. He'll tell you, your mate, but Denny Oil. He had the same type of pattern as Craig. They used to bounce off each other.
Yeah, they did.
And they had the same type of pattern. And Craig, he'll tell you, he was the first person to start that saying, like the way he said it, but not like Jimmy Savile.
Yeah, you're right.
He was funny, Craig. He was really clever, really good driver. He could be best driver I've ever known. Get away from the cops. We went to the tax lad. We got 700 quid. Went there. Never had a drug in my life. I was about 26 and a half. We goes to Gateshead. We got in this house and we got this coke. I'm not going to lie to people. I'll tell the truth. Goes in this house, put this line of coke down. I've never had a drug. Have a line of that. I had this £10 note thing. I had to go.
Because you were never into it.
Never took it out until I was 26 and a half. When I had the fight with Lee, it was March, because me and you were there actually. And it was 1991. So anyway, we goes there. Anyway, Craig said, I'm in the back because the size of me, he's in the front, Craig and Lee. Anyway, Lee sat there. Obviously, he's been shot. His foot was bad. He's having this coat. We've seen this man in Gateshead. We're driving all the way back, and it was about an hour to get back. I went, don't fuck all at me, that stuff, you know. They went like burst out left. They were drinking coke and that. And I went, what's the matter with you? So lunatics, he went, you've never fucking stopped talking all the way back from Gateshead. We haven't got a word from you. We were laughing our heads off there. So we had some good times, Lee. And then the night when I knew he was a good lad, we were out, little Teddy Dick was doing this Cossack dance. Yip, the big fella. Yip. There was Dave Wood, and all them, Rob Suggers. We had some good fun.
Dave and Rob are good lads.
Lee used to be able to squat on one leg. I know you're strong as a bull, can you do this? He used to squat on one leg and put him up, 16 stone or something. And he could come back up and do squats on one leg and he'd jumping about. Anyway, he gave me this half a biscuit. Right, Scrappy's just coming to see his guys. He gave me this half a biscuit, which was ecstasy. The best time I'd had it, anyway, I dropped this tablet, as you call it. And I'm at the bar, and it was the one in Middlesbrough. what was it in Middlesbrough we used to go?
The
Havana. We're in the Middlesbrough in the van, that was it. And Lee stood there and he was dancing and he loved it. What was that? Candy Staten.
What was that?
Candy Staten, is it?
Candy Staten.
That was his favourite song at the time. That one.
Young Lads Run Free.
No, You Got the Love.
You've Got the Love to See Me Through. I couldn't remember the song. He always used to dance with his hands in the air. I always had like one hand dancer.
But his proper favourite song was Bat Out of Hell.
Yeah, that was Carol's. His proper favourite song was Bat Out of Hell. Because Carol Edwards, obviously, was like a motorbiker chick type of thing. She was into that type of music, which was the big like Meatloaf. Yeah, they used to sing that song in the car with the kids and that. Anyway, so Lee, I'm having this thing and I'm cabbage. Anyway, so I'm thinking, I'm stood at the bar, and the next minute, I was getting a bit paranoid, you know, because I was like off my head. So I was like, I've cabbage on these, because when you have them, you can't, you incapacitate your cabbage like that, you know, when you first have it. I was stood there anyway. You only big fella? I went, yeah. And I was like, he's going to film me anyhow. Now I'm going to get a good eye off Lee Duffy here. That's what I thought. No, yeah. Because you couldn't do that because obviously the drug. And he went, come here, you big bastard. And he's trying to get me out if it goes out. And it was a little, like a Fiat Polo. I don't know exactly what the car was, but we were in it. And we got in it and we went to Brian Flaherty's, who loved Brian, big Brian, lovely lad. We goes to his, and we went on there. We drank a bottle of vodka, and then we went there. Another one, a lovely man. You remember? He used to have the Belmont.
Freddie Veers.
What a lovely man he was. And God rest his soul. We go to there. We thought, come in, big fella, come in. And then Lee, we just went around and we just did what we wanted.
Yeah.
And we just nobody could fight Lee, nobody could fight me, but together. God rest another one, Lee Harrison, a lovely lad. He said to us, we met him, was in the Havana. He was getting down at Brian Andrews Club, and he was doing out Fatso's, I think it was called, the restaurant. And the next minute, me and Lee took me in. He said, "This is Terry. He was sawing away, like he's always going to put my fence up. He's always doing on roofs and everything's all over the place." So he's on there, Terry. All right, this is Brian, and I'd already been told about Terry because we went by one day and he was talking to John Black. I was only about 22. And he went, "My dangerous little fucker him, you know, hitting you in the face with a wall brick like that, you know." He said, "He might not be the best fighter, but he used to say, my mum used to say, my dad, you can't fight him straight in the face of a wall brick." And he had done that a few times allegedly. And he was, anyway, I'd already heard about Ty's reputation, but I was only a kid at the time when I met him the first time. It was like 26 the second time. And we went in the club and Lee Harrison said, "United you stand, divided you fall." And suddenly I went to jail. And I went to jail about 5 or 6 weeks later. Obviously Lee wasn't here then, so I think, you know, it's just what
there's a great song called that, you know, United We Stand, Divided We Fall by Brother of the Man. Have you heard it?
Yeah.
Really nice song.
Lee Duffy wasn't this month, what people are saying. He had a good heart. I remember this story where he'd had some allegedly cannabis, and he'd went to this shop, and it was a shop where you weighed your food. So people are weighing the food, used to get food and weighed, you know, sugar and stuff. Lee went, "Get out of the way." He pulled the kit bag off. He had these 9 bars, weighing them into ounces in the shop. Then there's all 20 people in the shop stood there. And he said, "I just weighed my stuff in there, mate, big fella. I don't need any such and such." And he just walked in the shop. That was Lee. He was so unpredictable. And then he was dead loving. He'd give his coat away in the pool hall, which is another story the trolls didn't know about because they never went around, like you said. And we used to go there about breakfast, and there was a kid stood freezing. It was raining. And he went, "Where's your coat, son?" Well, I haven't got one. So Lee took his coat off and gave the kid his coat. It was hanging off him. But he gave him a coat. Took his coat off. I've seen him do that about 4 times with his coat. Give his coat away.
What's the story where you've got one of his coats?
I had this coat, but I gave it to his daughter, which is Shelley, Carol's daughter. And she's had it since, and it gave her joy. But the troll tried to sell it for £500.
Yes.
And I said, no, I don't want to sell the coat. And I gave it rightly so where it should go back to the family. And me and my wife, you know, best friends with Carol now. So the thing with chatting with these, doing what they've done, I've just put all these good people together. And everyone started to realise, well, what's going on. But Lee Duffy wasn't this person, what people write about in books. We've done the book, this one here, and it's probably the best book that's been written. I'm not trying to be big-headed, it's the truest version, because that might have only been with Lee, I knew him for 6 months. We had a bit of a fight in March, and I was with him for about 4 months, taxing people, but I actually knew that lad. I slept in the same house. We went to the raves together. We trained together. We boxed on the pads. We went in Craig Howard and we were on the. He said, "Get the pads out." Craig Howard got the pads. Nikki was his girlfriend. She was a bodybuilder. Remember her? Nikki Smith. Anyway, he got the pads out and he said, "Craig, watch out fast," because very excitable, like. And he put me on the pads. Lead it is, and he went. Craig was on it, but he wasn't that good because he was trying to punch like he was benching 500 pounds on it stiff. Yeah, fast. Yeah. And anyway, he said, "Go on here, Brian." Anyway, I did the punch. He went, "See, you can't be that big and be that fast. It's impossible. It defies the laws of physics." Lee Duffy's handwriting was brilliant. I've seen his handwriting, immaculate, absolutely immaculate. And he was dead loving person to his kids and that, and his partner at the time, Carol, loved them, and he's sadly missed out by everybody. So
I tried to look Carol up on Facebook last week to message you, but for some reason,
Carol, you'll have to add Kevin Kilty.
Yeah. Because the other thing about it as well, when you told us the stories about that dickhead who was threatened her.
Yeah.
And he actually did physically threaten her.
Disgusting.
Could you imagine someone who's allegedly written a book about Lee Duffy threatening his ex-wife and mother of his kids?
Yeah.
Or any man?
Well, he threatened the kids as well.
He's loading them
as well. Disgusting, wasn't it?
I wish I'd have been there. And when things get sorted out, I've got lots of things to say to that low like cunt.
Yeah, horrible. Yeah. So anyway, anyone got any questions, Emma?
Because next week I'm going to be asking Brian.
What do you think of that? Yeah.
I'm going to ask him some big questions next
week. So Kevin, on to you, mate.
Still a few more things to say next week, but some questions I want to ask Brian next week. And sorry, I've had a bad throat tonight, so I couldn't talk as much as I wanted to. But next week we can maybe have a good chat to Brian about these things. The week after, probably in a different venue, I'm just going to tell a life story of what happened.
He's trying to say this.
Sorry. What happened with...
Get a drink.
Let me get a drink. Go on, you talk, fella.
What am I going to talk about? Yes, so don't forget to get the book and subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Brian Cockerill. Find that it's free. There's all sorts of there. It's not just these podcasts. There's training of elastic bands for people who train. There's full training with the bodybuilding, the powerlifting, diets. There's how to help your teeth if you've got bad teeth, and how to get for toothache, for gout, for all sorts of diets.
I'm going to come on with some
Dr. Kilty's coming on. Appointments, please. You have to put
that might make
prescriptions. Prescriptions put in, please, for Mr. Kilty.
For sore throats.
For sore throats. Yeah.
No, a lot of good advice on medicines, what you can do. Even though I don't follow them, I can give you some excellent advice, really, really, really good advice and some truth. A lot to talk about, So we've got 5 minutes left, Kevin. Do you have anything else you want to say to anyone? Well, what I was going to ask everyone, does anyone know anything that's any good for sore throats other than these fucking lockers? Even though I'm a doctor.
Dr. Kilty.
No, just
questions on my throat.
Why don't you talk about what you're going to do next week?
Just so everyone know what we're going to do next week.
I was going to try and do I ask Brian a lot about his life story. Where I'm just literally talking to Brian.
By then his voice will be back with you.
Your voice
it will be.
We're going to get you.
Definitely. I think questions that you want to be asked before.
Well, that'll be good. Might be a lot next week. So, guys, thanks for listening to us. Just like to say to everyone, have a great Easter. Don't eat too much chocolate, and we love you all. We'll see you same time next week. And God bless you all. Thank you very much for listening to us. Happy Easter, everyone.
Have a great time.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, they enjoy, but I think a lot of people enjoy